Hi all and welcome back to the channel. My name is Philip and I'm doing a restoration of this Oval 55. Today I will give you some tips and tricks when you buy a Beetle, where you have to look for. A lot of guys have bought a Beetle that is rusted up and had a lot of work and didn't finish the project. So if you want to buy a Beetle, these are some tips and tricks. So let's do a little tour and enjoy the video. So if you want to buy a Beetle, there are several places you have to look for. At first, at the front here, watch for rust underneath the spare tire. Look carefully if it not be bent on both sides, even here, so it doesn't has an accident. Second of all, make sure the plate is on, and normally there's a number here. But this car has been built in Belgium, so they took a body and has no body number on it. But that's no problem here. I know it's matching number car, so the numbers of the type plate, the gearbox and the engine and the chassis all matching numbers, so I'm very glad for that. Second of all, you can have rust underneath here. Show you a picture now. So yeah, underneath there can be rust, and you have to address that, otherwise it can rust further, and that is something we don't want. Next thing, the heater channel. It can be that the heater channel is rusted underneath this plate here, so you have to cut out that whole piece. At front here, that's the end of the heater channel. It can always be that there's rust also. I had some rust. I will show you now in the picture. Yeah, and if you take it all apart, you can all build it back to the original state, like I did. As you can see, everything is like original again. Look at the top end of the chassis. It must be in a very good condition. No rust, no holes underneath it. There are the things where you have to look for. At the front end we have the axle here, but mine is out now. I will show you with the axle inside. I have took it apart and cleaned it up already. So this is the front axle. So where you have to look for is rust is underneath here. So it's always a possibility you have here rust. It can be rotted out completely. Mine is in a very good condition. Even the old grease is leaking out, so I have to clean that up. At the front there also, if that is not rotted out, if it's rotted out here, it can be replaced by a piece, but it's better to buy a new one and be happy for years. Up already. If we go a little bit back, there can be rust underneath here. so you can address that. I did that already also here. There's possibility you have rust underneath here. I have a little bit, but I have to address that. The doors also typical. The underneath is always rusted out. This side is very good, but the other side has a little bit of rust that I have to address. The chassis, mine is very clean, but you have to look for holes in the panels. But mine is now in a very good condition and is refurbished already. You will have some cracks in the doors maybe. You can address that. A car that is very original. Look for the signs in the windows. So mine are Gemep from Belgium, secret. As you see here on the back, that's the same. Again, let me put some light on. Heater channels. I have a little bit of rust, but normally you can see that the rest is all rusted up by the A-pillar. The heater channel is looking very beautiful here, but it can be that it's rusted out at the front. This side was in a very good state. The other side I had to refurbish it, make a new piece on it. Watch out for the heater channels there. It can always be that they are so rusted you can crush them in. So you have to renew the whole heater channel, and that's a big work. If you don't know how to do that, it's better to get it in a shop. At the back here we have the battery inlay, also renewed here like it was original. And under the heater mufflers it can always be rust in the corners, so that can be severe rust, or in a very unlikely case like here, you don't have any rust. If you go in there, you will see there is some surface rust. I have to spray some rust converter on it so it will not rust any further anymore. Chassis number is there, so make sure that the papers and the chassis number are matching, otherwise you have big troubles if you have to go to the inspection. The mileage, here it's in kilometers, so if that is right with the papers. As you can see, there's rust in the door, so that has to be addressed too, but look for it. You never know how rusted there are. Even here, in this case, I had a little bit of rust here at the heater channel. Let me get a little bit backwards. So look for it at the back of the car. That's the heater channel, and it's possible there is some severe rust, and it's all rusted out. With the quick tap here, it's possible that it's all bent in, because the structure is gone from the rust. You can buy some pieces of heater channel, the back and the front, so you don't have to renew the whole heater channel. You can have this panel here, and it's a cut in an angle. Yeah, there are lots of pieces, but try at least to keep a lot of metal original, because the thickness is a little bit thicker than the aftermarket. So make sure if you renew it, take some metal that you have, make new pieces. If it's too difficult, buy new pieces, but keep in mind the metal is not so thick. So and sometimes the heater channels, if you buy them. So even the expensive ones, the normally good material, don't fit always. So if you can keep it original, keep it original. So at the back, sometimes we have some rust here and there. Can be rotted out underneath here, but in this case, no problem. Underneath here, there's a hole, a lot of dirt, and water can go behind it, and that's the reason why they are rusted out there. So this bracket here, usually they're rotted out underneath it. So on the inside you will see a hole. All the rest is eaten out by the rust. I already renewed it, so you can see it in the picture now. And after you reuse the old ones, if you can, same deal here. Try to take the original ones off and maybe restore them. This one had a lot of holes here. And underneath here, but I welded back together with some pieces, and it's looking like new again. So if you go to the back, it can be that this is rusted, same deal as at the front, but I didn't have any issues here, so that's okay. Rust can be here. Oh, sorry. Rust can be here in the corners. Eventually, I didn't end up to replace those pieces. Same deal here. Yeah. Now with the younger cars, you have here vents. Yeah. And they put here material in. It's an isolation, and it pulls the moisture out of the air, and it locks in that isolation, and it's always rusting here. So therefore you have to look. In the older types, they put bags in here on the inner side of the corner. Yeah, mine are out, but I will put some back in. And why is that? They put the isolation in here, or the bags for the fumes from the engine. That's why they put it in, so no fumes could get into the car. It's a very hard work to get that foam out. So even if you buy a Beetle, mine are not been taken off the doors, but they have to shut very easy. They have to match here, otherwise your doors are hanging off or the body has an accident. So just like that. Second of all, take a magnet with you, and if you go to the places like here on the doors, everywhere on the body, you can feel with the magnet if there's Bondo on it, yes or no. So look for every piece that you think they have screwed it with Bondo, so just put a magnet on, and it will, I will show it with this magnet. You see, it's hold on very strongly, so there's no Bondo on here. I know that for sure because it's all original. For the rest, what can we tell about buying a car? If you have an engine, look for the play on the engine. If you have too much play, you have to rebuild that engine. Just see if there's big oil leaks on. Same for the gearbox. If it's drivable, drive it. Hear for the noises, knocking noises, how the engine runs, how the front axle is reacting, how is the steering, do you have much play on the steering, lots of stuff you can look for. It's better to look twice. Don't buy every time the first car you see. Go to another one and you will see there's a lot of difference. Another piece where you have to look for is here, where the wipers are. Not so often, but they can rust. Also here, but I already renewed them. The rails underneath it can be rusted out. Yeah. About the rust, that's probably all that I can say about. Fenders also, they can be rotted out, but they have replacements now. The hood, from earlier types, they rust up at front. On the back, I'll show you that. Let's close this door. And look how easy it closes. As you can see, there's a starting rust here. I have to address that. But these are the things where you have to look for. Look if the battery is good, the brake lines are good, if there's no leak at the cylinders, if the head cylinder from the main cylinder from the brakes is not leaking, is everything in a good condition? Because a lot of guys can paint their cars, but the mechanic is really rubbish. So take a spin with it, try to hear for any noises, knocking noises, how the car handles. Be sure if you buy a car that you are technically a little bit up ahead, otherwise it can be a struggle to rebuild the engine, rebuild the gearbox, or you have to do it in a shop, and that can be very expensive. Or you can look at my videos if you want, so you can learn a lot by looking at videos. There's a lot of other guys on YouTube that do their projects, so yeah, lots of stuff to look for. What I do is always looking how much it will cost. Certainly, when you buy a car, you have to see how much money you will spend or want to spend, that the missus is still happy with it. Pieces from the aftermarket are not always so good as the original, so try to make a restoration with as much as pieces that are original. And yeah. In total, if you do a total restoration, body off, chassis, it depends how much you want to spend, but if you want to do a total restoration, yeah, between $20,000 and $35,000. So another thing you have to look for is rust underneath this roster here. A lot of times they didn't have much paint on it, so they can rust very easily. So if you have rust there, that's a little bit complicated. Sandblasting and other types of blasting, you can use that, but it's difficult to get that rust all out. So, do I forget something? So if you want to buy a Beetle, don't be scared. At the first Beetle you see there's a lot of rust. Step away, go to another one. Eventually you will find a good one, and then can your project start. So be patient, and at one time you will find a really nice car. I'm lucky. This was my grandfather's car. It's in a very good condition. I did already a lot of body work, took a lot of rust out. I know some pieces will rust again, but then we can address that again. So even body panels, mine are repainted, and I still have the old signs on it, so everything is nice here. Normally brake line can be broke there in the corner where the pedals are, so you have to watch for that. Take the rubber mats out if they say, oh, don't do that, especially for that reason. There are holes, or they have used Bondo or silicones or all the other crap. Just do it. You are the buyer. You have to inspect everything. If they say, oh no, it's not drivable, it cannot be driven on the road, yeah, there will be some issues that you don't want to know, so step away. Otherwise, door pillars on the back here, look for the rust here. If it's not been rotted out, if you can press the heater channel in, leave it. Or if you know already, if you can press this in, all the rest will be gone, and will have a lot of rust in the car. The roof is something that is forgotten a lot of time. Look if it's not bended, if it's don't have a bended place here or everywhere on the roof. So be sure the roof is nice and clean, like this one. Don't have any dents in it. A little dent that can be bent out, but not a big dent. If you have a big dent, the structure is really gone from the car, because the strength is in the roof. Heater channels, they come out here also, so look for rust here. The tubes from an older one. The exhaust will normally be rusted out if you buy a car that is sitting a lot of time. Oil leak is normal, but they didn't came out of the factory leaking. So if they are leaking, yeah, that's probably the best time to renew the engine or rebuild it. So this was a little tour with the places you have to look for, the rusts. Watching out for the matching numbers. If you don't care about that, no problem. It's you that decide what you will buy. But in this case, original, all the perfect matching numbers. So I'm glad with that. Like I said, don't buy the first one. If it's really good car, buy it. Yeah, no problem. But don't be disappointed if you just look at one car and he's all rusted out. So just go to another one and look very carefully. This is especially for the Beetle. Those places. On other cars you have to watch out also for rust. So I hope I really helped you out with the places that you have to look for a Beetle. I know it's a very funny car, but if you just buy it with your eyes closed, yeah, it can be a very disappointed thingy afterwards, and very expensive one. So watch out for those good cars. If it's rusted, try to make it roadworthy again, put it back on the street, let the younger guys have that vibe again to reach out to the Beetles, because we need them. Because in about 10 years we don't know what will happen with the old timers and the gas that we have to put in. So we have to get a good community again to get those cars back on the road. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment. I will comment back as soon as I can. I hope I can still get every week a video. I have limited time to work again on the car, but we will try to make every 2 weeks maximum a new video. So normally every week, but if you don't see one coming up, yeah, that's probably because that weekend was very busy for me. So thank you for watching. Thank you for all the subscribers yet. over the 600, so I'm very pleased with that. The comments are very nice. Thank you. It's given me the drive to work on this car and to get it back on the road. So thank you very much all, and I hope I will see you back again on all the other videos. So you know what to do. Enjoy the weekend and take care.